Welcome to the McCallister Report. We join John McCallister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
Hello, I'm John McCallister with the John McCallister Report. And today, recently I was reading on Twitter or X now it's called, about everybody's wanting you to send them your highlights to be evaluated. And a lot of recruiting services want you to send them your highlight videos to get evaluated so they can help you get recruited. Well, I've been doing this for 30 years, and recruiting services are nothing new. The first one I remember is down in Athens, Ohio, and College Prospects of America, I think might have been the name of it. College Prospects of America. Very elaborate. They had their own big offices, and they did it with all sports. Football, basketball, baseball, track, and women's sports were just coming in then, or girls' sports. And so I think they were one of the first ones, but they were charging pretty good amount of money to do those. The parents had a form to fill out, the coach had a form to fill out, and the player, I think, had a form to fill out. And then they would put all this and they'd send it to colleges all over the country, all kinds of colleges, all levels. Well, I thought it was kind of a ripoff back then. And, maybe for the minor sports, it's good. But I didn't think college football was necessary to have a recruiting services. So, mine was different. I never charged kids. I never, went in detail asking them questions, because I had my own scouting and evaluation services where the colleges paid me. I was 1 year behind Terry Forbes here in Ohio. He did a great job. And then next year I started my own, and it worked out pretty well. But most of the focus was on Division One and Division One and Division Two levels of players that I thought could play that level. Honestly, I didn't have the time or the money to do Division Three prospects, because there are a lot of those. So I guess I'm going to walk into this and say, I think there is a need for recruiting services. I think at the Division Three level, I think it's important. I still don't want to spend the money, and wouldn't spend the money to, $1,000. That's the going rate, or even more. I've heard Chicago's up around $3,000 and things like that. And obviously and I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that. I met a person over in Northeast Ohio a couple of summers ago, and she starts talking to me and asking me some questions, and found out what I did. I just told her what I thought, and told her, my thinking on her son. And 10 minutes later, she said, "Boy, I wish I'd have met you a long time ago," because she said, "I'm paying a lot of money to get my kid recruited Division One." And the problem was, he's not a Division One scholarship player. I think he's a senior now. I think he's going to enjoy a good career, Division Two, probably Division Three, but she spent all that time and money trying to get him recruited. I feel bad, and she's a parent. But that's all over. Those people are all over the place. So I guess I'm going to come back and say I'm not totally against it. The recruiting services. How much do they charge? That's important. That's really important. And now they have it so they can set up and in payments of every other month or every month, but money's still money, and you're paying that. And I still think if you get out and work, and the head coach does his job, gets out and works, you'll be all right. If I'm a Division I prospect, and if I'm getting letters from Division I and things like that, and Division II, I'm not going to spend the money for a recruiting service. My name's already out there. Here's a joke for you. This was years ago, and he didn't make it at Ohio State, but his dad wanted to know how his son could get his name out there more, and if there was anything I could do. And I said, no, I'm not going to do anything special. Just do what I do. And I told his dad, I said, your son is a good football player. He's playing at one of the best high schools in Ohio, and it happened to be in Southwest Ohio. I said, every college coach, Division I coach, comes through the Cincinnati, Dayton area, they're going to stop at your school. So why would you spend more money? Well, it's just an ego thing, is what it was. He just wanted his son's name out there more. Guys like a person like me, I'm not going to do that. I do a good enough job. But then the other thing I would tell you is, what do they guarantee? What do they tell you? Do they tell you they're going to talk to college coaches all over the country? Or what do they tell you? Now, a couple of good guys, I have two friends that are in the business. They're more part-time guys now, but they're the best I've been around. Best evaluators I've been around, and football evaluators. So I guess I have to be a little bit careful, because technically they fall under the umbrella of a recruiting service. But I think what they do is call themselves a consulting business. I think that's really good. I don't know. If I wanted to be a consultant, I think I can do a pretty good job with that consulting business. But I don't really do want it. I do that free, to be honest with you. I mean, people text me, call me, send me PMs on Twitter, on Facebook, and I answer them. And can't perform miracles, but I answer them and things like that. And what I always tell them, I will expose you to what's out. I will expose you, but I'm not going to promote you. There's a big difference to me, expose and promote. And so, that's just what I do. But I think the other sports, I think there are recruiting services in all sports, and that's hard, but a good recruiting service will put your name all over the country. But again, I think if you go back and you try to promote yourself, and you work at it, and you get your high school coach working at it, and he gets us some clinics and things like that, and there's an opportunity. And I think, if your son or daughter is just okay, and you want to get her name out there, well, most of the people that do that have money. So I guess you can do that. But recruiting services, I see them pop up. There's some in Southern Ohio and Central Ohio. And in fact, a few years ago, a guy called me and asked me my name and asked me if I had been talking to one of his clients. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, can I ask some information about you? And after the second question, I said, I'm not answering these questions. Come on, man. I'm not going to answer all these questions for you. If your client doesn't want to work with me, that's okay. I mean, I don't get paid anymore. Colleges don't pay me anymore, so the obligations are not there like I used to be. But I will help you. And I see these guys getting their name out there. See my recruiting guy and all this stuff. Well, you can put that out there, but I don't think colleges are going to do that. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to get to the kid, and the high school coach better get in there involved somehow and get to the player, get to the prospect. Again, we're talking football. You got to know what's going on, and so I think it's really important. Well, recruiting services are sometimes good, like anything else, but I think that they can be a struggle. Finally, anytime I see a recruiting name or NSA, NASA by their kid's name, then I'm worried. Because if that kid's good enough, he doesn't need that scouting. He doesn't need that recruiting service. So I'm a little concerned, and they've already spent the money. Well, good luck. We're in October now. We're just finishing October. Playoffs are just starting, and a lot of players will be, done for the season. And I know they're going to get into recruiting, and if they're not already, and they're going to get workouts and all these other things. But I would hold back on recruiting services. Just be careful. If you're good enough, I think they're going to find you. Thank you.